This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, wildfire charges. The man accused in connection with the largest wildfire in Nova Scotia's history pleads not guilty.
Legacy of pollution. A new study raises concerns about contamination from old gold mines in Nova Scotia waters.
And
this ain't Texas.
How this song is helping line dancing make a comeback in Cape Breton.
Building clouds tonight with our next system rolling in overnight into Thursday as rain goes back to some flurries with temperatures falling. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. The man charged in connection with the largest wildfire in Nova Scotia's history has pleaded not guilty in court today.
Dalton Clark Stewart is facing 3 charges following an investigation into the Barrington Lake fire last year. Gareth Hampshire was at the hearing in Shelburne and has this report.
Dalton Stewart was not here at Shelburne Provincial Court this morning, but his lawyer entered not guilty pleas to all 3 charges on his behalf. He joined the hearing virtually to represent him. Stewart's facing charges under the Forests Act in connection with the wildfire which destroyed dozens of homes and led to the evacuation of thousands of people last year. About 60 structures were lost to the fire, which burned more than 23,000 hectares. The Department of Natural Resources has not disclosed how it believes the fire was started, stating the matter is now before the courts. Stewart was 22 when he was charged in January. Those charges are for lighting a fire on privately owned land without permission of the owner, failing to take reasonable efforts to prevent the spread of a fire, and leaving the fire unattended. People convicted of violations under the Forests Act can be fined up to $50,000 and face 6 months in jail. Stewart's next court date is in June, when it's expected a trial date will be set. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Shelburne.
A shooting in North Preston last week has now been declared a homicide. The shooting happened last Thursday afternoon on Downey Road. Officers found 18-year-old Diego Downey suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to hospital. He died of his injuries on Monday. RCMP are calling the incident a, quote, senseless act of violence. They're asking anyone with information to come forward.
Nova Scotia's Utility and Review Board has ruled a disciplinary hearing for a Halifax bar connected to a 2022 homicide will remain open to the public. The Halifax Ale House is facing Liquor Control Act charges following several incidents in 2022, including the death of Ryan Sawyer on Christmas Eve. The Utility and Review Board hearing is not connected to the ongoing criminal and civil cases involving the bar and its former staff. However, the Review Board's hearings are typically public. At a preliminary hearing last August, a lawyer for the Ale House said the hearing should be kept confidential because of the other ongoing legal matters. Lawyers for CBC News and the Globe and Mail challenged the request, arguing the open court's principles should apply in this case, and the other parties have not shown a public hearing would pose a risk to public interest.
For those of you who live in HRM, you may soon see an increase on your water bill. Halifax Water is expecting an $18 million deficit this coming year. The utility says that's driven by rising gas costs, salaries, and ongoing projects. The utility plans to spend $152 million on those capital projects, the vast majority of the funds going toward upgrading existing infrastructure. The UARB is set to hold a hearing in April on Halifax Water's rate request.
HRM says so far it has spent more than $33,000 on cleaning up and clearing out 3 of the city's homeless encampments. Earlier this month, city staff discarded tents, food waste, and unclaimed belongings from Halifax's Grand Parade and Victoria Park and a ball field in Lower Sackville. The city says the spending does not cover all outstanding invoices for clear-out efforts, including the cost for erecting fencing around the perimeter of the 2 downtown encampments.
Legal Elver fishers say they are the only ones being penalized by the federal government's decision to shut down the maritime fishery. The Standing Committee on Fisheries and Oceans heard from a number of stakeholders on Tuesday on how to prevent violence during the fishing season. The 2024 season was closed in the Maritimes after DFO admitted it couldn't control poaching. One legal fisherman from Nova Scotia's South Shore told the committee the closure is affecting his livelihood.
When the minister doesn't cancel the fishery, Shelburne Alberta employs up to 50 people. This injects money into rural communities in an economically depressed area. Committee members must fully understand the tremendous human cost of Minister Laboutier's decision. I lost my partner to cancer a few months ago. It's been hard, unbearable at times, but to now be unemployed and facing an uncertain financial future is simply a challenge I didn't need.
Earlier this week, RCMP and DFO announced multiple arrests after fishery officers attempted to stop illegal overfishing near Hubbards.
A recently released study is shedding a new light on the legacy of pollution from Nova Scotia's historic gold mining era. Contamination in 2 Nova Scotia lakes remains at elevated levels, and one is getting worse because of recent environmental changes. Paul Withers explains.
It's been 80 years since historic gold mining ended in Nova Scotia. Back then, rock containing both gold and arsenic was crushed and spread over liquid mercury to remove the gold. The remaining sand-like substance is known as tailings. Tailings in gold mining districts washed into lakes and are still polluting.
After a certain number of years, we should expect some level of ecosystem recovery. But our study suggests that ecosystem recovery takes a lot longer.
He and other researchers dated and measured contaminants and sediment in 4 lakes that received historic gold mine tailings. For the most part, they dropped to pre-mining levels with 2 exceptions. Sediment in Lake Gagogin downstream from Goldenville has elevated mercury. It's believed tailings washing into the lake still contain high levels of the chemical. At Lake Charles, which received tailings from the gold mine at Montague, the situation is worse. Arsenic levels are actually rising. Low oxygen levels caused by warming has likely triggered a chemical reaction that releases arsenic, he says.
We are seeing a shift from lake sediments acting as sinks for contaminants to becoming sources because of various environmental changes that are happening presently.
Both lakes exceed the federal benchmark for environmental contamination and another measure of probable biological effects that incorporates other chemicals.
At Lake Charles, it exceeds by a large amount.
Would you swim there?
I would not recommend it, given that the arsenic levels are higher than the Protection of Aquatic Life guidelines.
He says the results point to the need for more frequent water quality monitoring and continued caution for people and pets, especially at Lake Charles. Paul Withers, CBC News, Halifax.
Ryan with us now, almost through our first official day of spring.
And wasn't the sun nice?
Yeah, it was a great day today. Still a great evening out there. Again, the clouds starting to build in, though, now ahead of our next system. Tom and Amy, thank you so much. As we look at those temperatures, 3 to 6 across Cape Breton. We're anywhere from 4 to 8 degrees across mainland Nova Scotia right now. And again, those southerly winds are on the increase. We have the radar picking up a couple of very isolated showers, but those for the most part are, yes, just that, isolated. The bulk of the action here coming in through the New England area of the U.S. And that is, again, thanks to this system, which is going to be moving in from west to east overnight tonight. Now watch as we watch your timeline here. Again, it's pretty spotty shower and even some flurry chances this evening. And then we are going to be watching those periods of rain moving in overnight tonight, generally west, then central areas. Halifax into the action early tomorrow morning, pushes up towards Cape Breton as we roll into the early to mid-morning time frame. And yeah, that rain will come through about 5 to 10, maybe as much as 15 millimeters of rain. Note the temps, mild here, 2, 3, 4 degrees. This is going to be our high for the day, will be in the morning. And then we'll see the breezy, yes, in fact, gusty southwest winds gusting 50, 60, and 70 kilometers per hour, dropping our temperatures, and yes, ushering in with that cooler air mass, a change over to some flurries. So I do think actually between the rain and the flurries, we'll see a few sunny breaks tomorrow. So rain, then a few sunny breaks, then back to the clouds, and a good chance of seeing some flurries. And those flurries, again, coming in with that wind could be pretty blustery and squall-like, especially for open and exposed areas along parts of the coast. So that could be a little bit tricky for travel conditions for tomorrow's drive home for some, Tom and Amy. So again, typical spring day. Some showers, some rain, some sun, and yes, a little bit of snow by the end of the day.
Nothing like a little variety, huh?
Yep.
Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ryan.
Well, a new scam has surfaced that targets frustrated air travelers. It involves fraud artists that troll social media posing as airline customer service representatives. The CBC's Brett Ruskin explains.
Imagine that you're trying to catch a flight and it's not going well. There are delays. Perhaps your baggage has been lost. You've tried calling your airline. You've tried going to the help desk. Nothing seems to be working. So last resort, you reach out on social media, and great news. One of the airline's employees reaches out, offers help, says that you deserve compensation for your inconvenience. Their profile picture is the airline's logo. Their description says that they're a supervisor or even a manager for the airline. They only have a few followers, though, a little bit suspicious. Then they ask you for your booking reference. They ask you for a bit more details, saying that all you need to do is click on a link or download a certain app or visit a certain website, perhaps provide some banking details, and you can have your money sent to you. That is how this scam works. You might think, well, who might be able to be caught up in this type of scam? Here's one of those travelers.
I was social media aware enough to look at their profiles and realize that even though they had the Air Canada logo, they had, saying that they were supervisors, that they didn't have any followers. So that triggered some alarm bells for me. When you have flight cancellations and you have these stressful situations, individuals are just willing to, have anyone help them that they can.
And so in that specific case, the scammers told her that she should be compensated $1,500. All she needed to do to get her money was to download a money exchange app and ask for her funds in Kenyan shillings. Then they'll be transferred and become Canadian dollars. That's when she knew it was a scam and cut off communication with the scammers. Now, what do the airlines think about all of this? Keep in mind, it couldn't affect any airline. Air Canada specifically says that they are looking at, and they have been looking for, these fake accounts, reporting them, flagging them. They take this very seriously. They say anyone should watch for that authentication check mark and to ensure that there's kind of an appropriate number of followers, not just a handful. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
Premier Tim Houston says the Need a Family Practice Registry has served a place in the healthcare system, but there could come a time where its usefulness need to be reassessed. There are 156,000 on the list. Houston says the government is focused on getting people the care they need when they need it, and the list might not always be the best measurement.
At some point in time, we're going to have to assess whether that energy can be better placed within the system elsewhere. But the list is there today. It's a metric. There are other metrics as well, and we just kind of focus on how the system is functioning. That's our main goal.
Opposition leaders say the registry is an important measurement of how many people are in need of primary care. The health authority spent 2 months last summer updating the list's accuracy.
The NDP in Nova Scotia have tabled legislation to prevent the use of replacement workers in contract disputes in this province, similar to what exists in other jurisdictions. Leader Claudia Chender says while her legislation will need support from the other parties, it's a piece of legislation whose time has come.
The use of replacement workers tends to drag out a strike. And strikes are detrimental for everyone. They're detrimental for workplaces, for workers, and for whatever industry it is that's impacted by that strike. And of course, we know there's lots of spin-offs. So the idea is that, number one, we hope that workers don't have to resort to strikes. And when they do, that they are swift and successful, that the parties come back to the table and they come up with a fair agreement. And so this legislation is directly in aid of that, reducing the likelihood of strike and reducing the duration of strikes when they occur.
I'll talk to NDP leader Claudia Chender about her proposed legislation around the use of replacement workers. That's our Newsmaker interview just after 6:30.
Halifax's Auditor General is raising concerns around the city's hiring practices. A new report from Andrew Atherton's office says there are gaps in those policies and staff training. The team analyzed 40 jobs with competitions and found issues with all of them. In 4 cases, evidence even showed the person hired was not the best option. And in half of the 10 cases where people were appointed, there was no evidence for why that happened over an open competition.
That said, it is the hiring manager's prerogative to determine if there's a better fit somehow. We would have expected that to be documented, that there would be some evidence in the file saying, despite all of this, this is why we chose candidate A. And we didn't find that.
Halifax management has accepted the 17 recommendations from the report. They will come back to councillors with an action plan to tackle issues by September. Well, what's old is new again, especially when it comes to a dance craze growing in popularity in Cape Breton.
But this time around, there's an unexpected influence. Queen Bee, Aaron Potty explains.
Christine Filipowicz says the key to learning line dancing is knowing some basic moves and adding steps along the way. A dance instructor for 15 years, Filipowicz started teaching line dancing in Cape Breton after moving to the island a couple of years ago.
People just really love to participate in something that is fun and is to dance, and line dancing is a lot like building blocks. You learn a little bit something new each week.
Several line dancing instructors are now holding classes in Cape Breton communities, from Cape North to Glace Bay. Filipowicz says one of her classes has grown to more than 30 students. And she says someone is heavily influencing the trend.
This ain't Texas. Ain't no hold 'em. So lay your cards down, 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 down.
Beyonce just came out with a new country album a few weeks ago that is just tearing up the world, especially on TikTok.
As part of an online craze, people are recording their own dances to Texas Hold'em on TikTok. Among them is Brianna Dethridge of Sydney. She started taking Filipowicz's classes a year ago.
Over the past month, her classes, Christine's classes, have grown like exponentially. Like there used to sometimes only be 6 of us here, and then in the past maybe like 4 or 5 weeks, it's a full room. So we're super happy about that.
Dethridge is also happy to see artists like Beyonce tipping their hat to country music.
I love it. I mean, so many different artists branch out to different genres. I think it's interesting. I really like it.
The resurgence of the dance has been a long time coming for Filipowicz, who first started line dancing more than 30 years ago. She's since performed at weddings, festivals, and birthday parties.
When we moved to Cape Breton, I looked for some avenues to start doing that here. It's a great activity, but it also really helps me stay active and do something I really love.
Line dancers throughout Cape Breton say they're excited to see more people drawn to the activity because they say it's not only fun, it's a good way to spend time with friends. Aaron Potty, CBC News, Sydney.
We got to work on our moves.
Say, you still have your cowboy boots? All
do,
we need
actually.
is a line. That's all we need. All right, first quick break on the way. Stay with us.
There's a lot more to come on CBC Nova Scotia News. Coming up, protests by angry commercial fishermen have forced the provincial government in Newfoundland and Labrador to postpone the delivery of its budget.
And the RCMP is investigating possible fraud by people working on federal procurement contracts.
And there's a sign that spring is here in
Official.
Halifax. Yep. Ryan's up next with his full weather forecast. We're back in just a bit.
Should have been here a second ago. We were just clarifying that Ryan has never line danced, but he was, what did he say?
Lord of the Dance?
Lord of the Dance?
Not sure that's exactly how that conversation went, but
oh, that's how we interpreted it.
I like that story better.
Anyway, no line dancing.
No line dancing or Lord of the Dance. To be
changing color.
No, definitely will not be seeing that over the next few minutes in this weather forecast.
You never know what's going on.
It's true. So yes, as we somehow segue to the weather forecast, I guess a great day for a dance if you are along the beautiful Fundy Discovery site outside. Have a look at this.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, this
That is
from
beautiful.
our Nova Scotia webcams and beautiful.
Look at the chairs out there.
Yeah, they're
ready?
waiting for us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Isn't that a lovely spot right now? Yeah, temperatures around 6 degrees, so the sun still hanging on there in Lower Truro and with that mostly sunny sky. But we are watching the clouds building in further to the west. Certainly, as you can see, temperatures out there right now ranging from 4 to 6 degrees, although a little cooler in through the north and east, Cape Breton and in through the Northumberland shore. Note those winds. These are sustained winds, and again, in from the south as we look at the strengthening wind tonight. That is only going to be increasing. And as we look at the gusts, yeah, not too gusty out there right now. At present, to 30, 40, and some likely 50 and 60 kilometer per hour gusts just offshore, but not working their way on shore just yet. And again, there's that satellite picture. And again, we just showed you the scene in Truro. Radar picking up just some false returns there, but you can see where that cloud's starting to thicken up in the Halifax area and back towards the west, where things have really become cloudy now down towards the Tri-County area. So this is the system at play. This is the one that's going to be moving in overnight tonight and throughout the day tomorrow. And as we look at this area of high pressure kind of settling in behind this system, that's helping to reinforce the cold air behind the low. And so we will be watching for temperatures to turn pretty chilly for late tomorrow and then certainly into Friday as that colder air comes in on the other side of this system. So note, again, couple of rounds of some showers and flurries are going to try this evening, but moving into that drier air, really I think it's going to be overnight into tomorrow morning where we start to see these periods of rain coming in. Note the temperatures rising as we move into the overnight into tomorrow morning. We're starting the day in the 2, 3, 4 degree range, and that is as warm as it's going to get. And even by mid-morning, we'll start to see those winds shifting from gusty southeast winds, gusting upwards of 50, 60 kilometers per hour, to then even stronger southwest winds, which will gust 50, 60, and 70 kilometers per hour. And it's those southwest winds that will drop our temperatures and mix any lingering showers over to flurries. And between the rain and the snow, as I mentioned earlier, I do think we'll see some sunny breaks for a chunk of the day, especially into the afternoon for Cape Breton before we really see these flurries starting to push their way in. They're going to be most prevalent, the flurries will, in through the Bay of Fundy region, Tri-County area, and the South Shore, and edging up into Cobequid Bay, Amherst and Truro into the later parts of the afternoon. Halifax as well will get into a taste of them as well, but it's generally that Tri-County area and the Valley and the South Shore where things look quite blustery for tomorrow afternoon during the commute home. 3, 4, and 5 degrees for Cape Breton tomorrow. Those winds again southeast to southwest, and didn't put the sun icons on here, but could certainly see that dry punch working in there for the afternoon for you folks. Similar story for the Northumberland Eastern Shore. The rain will depart, bit of a break, then a chance for flurries into the afternoon. And as we said, the greatest risk here for the Fundy and Valley region tomorrow, 3, 4 degrees, 1 to 2, and even 4 degrees in through the Liverpool and Bridgewater area tomorrow, with those winds becoming southwest, gusting to 70 kilometers per hour. Halifax around 4 or 5 degrees, but then those temperatures dropping into the afternoon. We're likely closer to the freezing mark by the time we're heading home with a chance for some flurries. Now Friday, temperatures dropping to the freezing mark. Anywhere from Amherst to Halifax and Yarmouth and Sydney, we're looking at those temperatures right around the freezing mark. The flurries will depart, but we will see looking at even a lingering chance into the early afternoon, but then really clearing out. And then we're watching that next system, which looks set to have a little bit of snow on the leading edge, but will generally be a rain event Saturday night in through Sunday with, yes, some gusty winds with that as well. And then quietening down as we turn the page into early next week. Tom and Amy.
Yeah, looks all right. Okay, thanks so much, Ryan.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, the mystery of Oak Island has come to St. Mary's University. A number of artifacts are on display this semester.
CBC's Luke Ettinger visited a class but did not find much treasure. Instead, it's a glimpse into everyday life on the island. Have a look.
A very small silver coin is one of the coins that Robert had.
And is this the Spanish coin?
It's a Spanish coin, yeah. People often ask, is this treasure related? And it's treasure in the sense that it's information. For archaeologists, all of this material is treasure because we have questions and it provides answers.
It gives us a time frame and a cultural context to like this specific kind of ceramic production. And it's just like this tiny little piece. You're looking at coins, at buckles, at buttons, at like a cauldron or a stove, stuff like that. You're looking at ceramics. Which just show the minute details of basically just normal everyday life, which is not often what you get if you look up like Oak Island archaeology. You get the more sensational stuff.
Pirates' gold, lost French crown jewels, even West African gold stolen and buried by slaves.
But often the more mundane is even more interesting, and it tells you even more about like the people who were living there and what they were doing, and how they used the island.
Since I was a kid, my dad and I would both binge watch Oak Island, like The Curse of Oak Island.
It's a very curious piece. Yep. You guys need to go and find some more.
Yeah.
Coil to the soil.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, see you later. See you later.
Thank you, Emma.
So I've always been really interested in it. So when I heard that this was going to be a topic in our class, I was super excited. These are all separate pieces that like broke apart. So we don't know if they're all one piece or if they're different cauldrons.
These artifacts came here through an odd kind of story. And it began in the late 90s with a gentleman named Robert Young, who was from Ontario, who likewise had an interest in the Oak Island story. He became the owner of Lot 5, and he took out what was called at that time a treasure trove license. You can just barely make out the field boundaries of the strip of property that is Lot 5. And superimposed over it, this line map, is Robert's treasure hunting map. 20-odd years ago I met Robert, and we talked a little bit about his work, but we didn't really do too much work together. I was just going off to school, and we lost touch over the years. But later, I learned that Robert had passed away and left us his collection for teaching and research.
All right, thank you, Luke Ettinger, for that. Up next, I'll talk with NDP leader Claudia Chender about why she tabled legislation to ban replacement workers in labor disputes in this province. That's our Newsmaker interview.
Do stay with us. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News.
Now tonight's Newsmaker interview. The NDP in Nova Scotia has tabled legislation to prevent the use of replacement workers in contract disputes in this province, similar to legislation in other jurisdictions. Claudia Chender is the leader of the NDP. Ms. Chender, why this piece of legislation? Why now?
Well, it's actually an interesting series of events. We had planned to bring this piece of legislation. It's something that the Canadian Labour Congress, the Nova Scotia Federation of Labour, and many unions have been fighting for and advocating for a long time. So we had it on our legislative agenda, and it just happened to coincide with the strike at the Autoport. And so there are workers there who have been on strike for 3 weeks. And as soon as conciliation failed and they went on strike, all these replacement workers got brought in. And so it was actually a totally perfect illustration of why we need this legislation to protect workers and their constitutionally protected right to bargain.
Yeah, so this legislation is introduced against that backdrop, but many strikes in this province happen. Replacement workers, or scab workers as they're often called, are not brought in or not used.
Right.
There is, of course, the CN replacement workers at the Autoport that you're talking about, but overall, how pressing is the need for this legislation?
Well, we think it's a legislation whose time has come. So obviously it's pressing in the Autoport situation. We had a situation of a strike in early childhood where there were also replacement workers brought in not too long ago. But you're right, it hasn't been super common in this province. It has been common, however, across the country. And one of the reasons we decided to bring this legislation in now is because our federal counterparts in Ottawa are moving this legislation through the House with all party support. So, you know, we understand that at a national level, there is an understanding that in order to protect the charter rights of workers, workers who are being crushed more than anyone by the cost of living right now, and who in many cases are bargaining just for a fair wage, just to make enough money to feed their families and get to the end of the month. In order for them to be able to do that and to bargain with their employers who are making record profits in most cases, they need extra protections to ensure that their bargaining is free from interference. And the use of scab labor directly impinges their right to bargain. That's why the legislation is moving through with all party support in Ottawa. That's why we think it should move through this House with all party support as well.
Okay, and just to be clear, so there would be exceptions here, would there not be? Can you just kind of walk us through how they might play out?
Sure. Well, you know, as with many contracts, there would be an essential services provision. So the employer and the union could work together to create an essential services plan so that in the case of a strike, where it's an issue where, you know, life or safety is concerned, of course, that essential services could be provided for so that there wasn't any kind of danger associated with a strike position.
Okay, you mentioned the Autoport situation there. I'm just thinking generally, how might this legislation change the complexion of labor disputes? I mean, might it lead to a speed up in negotiations?
Absolutely, and I think that that's a lot of the rationale for this kind of legislation, is that the use of replacement workers tends to drag out a strike. And strikes are detrimental for everyone. They're detrimental for workplaces, for workers, and for whatever industry it is that's impacted by that strike. And of course, we know there's lots of spin-offs. So the idea is that, number one, we hope that workers don't have to resort to strikes. And when they do, that they are swift and successful, that the parties come back to the table and they come up with a fair agreement. And so this legislation is directly in aid of that, reducing the likelihood of strike and reducing the duration of strikes when they occur.
So it's the province, or it's available at least to companies and to employers and workers both, the mediation and the conciliation services in Nova Scotia.
Yep.
This would be, in addition to this, might it be even potentially a more powerful tool in terms of reaching a negotiated settlement?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things can work in concert. I think the idea is, so in the case of the Autoport, they were in conciliation, and what Unifor, the union, has expressed to us is that they didn't feel that the employer was bargaining in good faith. And sure enough, as soon as conciliation officially failed, there were replacement workers on site within 8 hours. So during the conciliation process, when they were supposed to be coming to a fair agreement, instead the employer was focused on training replacement workers so that they could keep their production and their, processes going while these folks went on strike and who are still on the line, who just want to get back to work. So I think the combination of having conciliation and mediation that is skillfully conducted and removing the capacity of employers to not actually engage in that in good faith when they know they can keep their operations going will again mean fewer strikes and shorter strikes when they occur.
So what kind of support do you think you have for this legislation, given the fact that the PCs that are in power now, they're not bringing forward this legislation? The Liberals who were in power didn't either.
Well, we'll see. It's a new day. As I said, I think the important context right now is that this is moving through the House of Commons in Ottawa with all party support. So we think that that bodes well. We do pass opposition bills in this House from time to time. I am an opposition member who has gotten a bill through this House, so it's not unprecedented. But we would support the same piece of legislation coming from government. And we were cautiously optimistic based on the minister's comments yesterday that she would take a good look at it and consider how the government was going to respond.
All right, Ms. Chender, we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up, the latest World Happiness Report puts Canada in the top 20 of happiest nations, which is ahead of the U.S. but behind several Scandinavian countries.
Protests by angry commercial fishermen have forced the provincial government in Newfoundland and Labrador to postpone the delivery of its budget.
The CBC's Terry Roberts has more on the story that's been escalating for days now.
They arrived in darkness before 6 this morning. Hundreds of angry seafood harvesters and their supporters, first easily passing through a police checkpoint, then up the steps of Confederation Building.
Everybody on this side is going to take a walk with me. Everybody on this side is going to hang out here.
From there, they peeled off in smaller groups, blocking building entrances, preventing thousands of public servants from going to work. 6:25, the first flare-up. Some protesters made a dash for a rear entrance, the same entrance used by politicians. They were met by police, including the RNC's mounted unit. For about 2 hours, a fragile calm. Even the police chief was on the front line, while some workers were upset by the interruption.
So today, when people are on open line complaining about how they didn't get through the government, that's on your shoulders. You're a selfish group of individuals. Have a nice day. Have a nice day.
"8:20, the RNC tries to open a corridor into the building for a group of workers. Some protesters strike and pull at the horses. It's not clear if any of the workers made it through the gauntlet, including some of the province's top bureaucrats. The protesters held the line, and the police eventually backed off. But not before this man, Shoe Cove fisherman Richard Martin, was injured. A broken hip, it was later reported. He was taken away by ambulance. And so was this police officer, also injured in the melee. Then another ugly incident. A senior aide to the premier was pushed back as she tried to enter the building. The fireworks comes just weeks before the opening of the annual crab harvest, the province's most important fishery. Harvesters say they've been pushed into a corner, that a small number of processing companies wield too much power, telling them when they can fish and who they can sell to. The uprising is being led by this man.
We want our business back in our own hands. Period.
Harvesters want to see more processing licenses issued. They want restrictions lifted on some plants that have a cap on how much they can buy. And they want to be able to sell their catch to companies in the Maritimes.
We're not in here joking around. We just want to get this fixed once and for all and be treated like every other industry, you know, in Canada.
Something happened today that have never happened before in the history of Newfoundland. The budget was cancelled.
And that's the CBC's Terry Roberts reporting from St. John's.
The RCMP has launched an investigation after several subcontractors apparently double or triple billed the federal government for work they did. Today, officials say it cost taxpayers $5 million, and it seems the problem may be widespread. The CBC's Kate McKenna reports.
Canada's Minister of Procurement defending a system that allowed subcontractors to bill multiple departments for the same work repeatedly.
Until now, there has not been any sign that this was due to mismanagement within the federal government.
Government officials say an internal review found 3 subcontractors are believed to have double billed 36 government departments between 2018 and 2022 at a cost of $5 million.
This has impacted dozens of departments. The overbilling, therefore, was made in a manner that took advantage of the fact that until recently, when everything was done on paper, until recently it was difficult for departments to coordinate and to share that information.
And there could be more cases coming. A federal government official speaking on background says today's announcement is the first wave of fraudulent billing cases the department has identified, with more expected to be announced in the coming months. This is the latest series of questions about mismanagement in the public service. Last month, the Auditor General found the final cost of the federal ArriveCan app is impossible to determine because of poor government record keeping.
The $60 million Arrive scam is just the tip of the iceberg. We now learn that there are $5 million in additional fraud that has been identified by the Department of Public Procurement.
The situation is obviously unacceptable, which is why authorities are looking into this procurement process. Anyone who took advantage of our COVID response to save Canadian lives should face consequence.
Today, the federal government announced it's looking to tighten its rules and create an office intended to stop fraud in procurement. It's also working to get that $5 million back. Kate McKenna, CBC News, Ottawa.
The U.S. Secretary of State is back in the Middle East to deal with the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. Antony Blinken arrived today in Saudi Arabia and will travel tomorrow to Egypt. Israel has just been added to his itinerary for Friday. Blinken is trying to restart negotiations for a truce and a release of hostages. Meanwhile, Israel says it has killed 90 Hamas gunmen at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City. It says the battle there is now in its third day. Hamas denies its fighters are present and says all the people killed were civilians.
Republicans in the U.S. Congress are refusing to release millions of dollars of security assistance for Haiti. They say they're concerned it can fall into the hands of gangs. A gang leader, shown here in the yellow vest, has just returned to his neighborhood in Port-au-Prince. He had escaped from prison earlier this month. He says he plans to retake control from another gang. Haiti has descended into chaos without a proper government in place. Aside from the violence, many people are without food.
In addition to it being the first full day of spring, it's also World Happiness Day. The latest World Happiness Report puts Canada in the top 20 of the happiest nations. That is ahead of the U.S., but behind several Scandinavian countries. And it highlights a growing divide in happiness between younger and older people. The CBC's Marianne Demain takes us through it.
Many experts say there is a list of factors contributing to the unhappiness of this younger group, those who are 30 years of age and younger. Things like uncertainty around the economy, the lack of affordable housing, all different factors that are contributing to this feeling of hopelessness and unhappiness compared to those who are older, specifically those who are 60 years of age and older who appear to be much happier. And that's quite a shift from the past 15 years when the younger group were actually happier than those older. One researcher who was also the study editor says some parts of the world, children are already experiencing the equivalent of a midlife crisis. The U.S. Surgeon General also likened social media use in youth to the equivalent of having children in cars that have no safety features and driving on roads with no speed limits, because social media, according to experts, is also a contributing factor to just why this younger group is feeling increasingly unhappy right now. Here's more on what keeps people happy.
I consider myself a happy person, even though stressed with school and stuff. I still feel grateful for breathing every day and just waking up and exploring and going out with my friends.
I focus on meaning and purpose over happiness. I find happiness and sadness is kind of a sliding scale. They're always going to be temporary.
I spend my time with people that also make me feel really happy and encourage them to do the same.
The World Happiness Report looked at how happy people were in more than 140 countries around the world over the past 3 years. And many say that looking at this younger group who appear to be increasingly unhappy should highlight the need for immediate action when it comes to policy.
So wealth is one thing, but then there's also a healthy life expectancy, which is also very high in Scandinavian countries, whereas in other wealthy countries like the United States, life expectancy is actually coming down for certain segments of the population. And then finally, something that where the Scandinavian countries really stand out, we find, is in terms of the social fabric, social capital of their society.
For the 7th year in a row, Finland is the #1 country for happiness, in part thanks to low corruption and free health care. It was followed by Denmark and Iceland. Canada is ranked at number 15, the U.S. at 23. Important to note that none of the world's largest countries were ranked among the happiest. Marianne Demain, CBC News, Toronto.
Renters in British Columbia are facing the highest costs in Canada, and with fewer affordable places available, those stuck in the housing crisis are becoming desperate. The CBC's Yvette Brend shows us some are getting creative in order to find a home.
In this freezer, I believe we have 7 or 6 of them now.
Hudson and Jackson Forsyth Beck sold pickles and produce they grew in the front yard of the rental home that they're now about to lose. Their family has been evicted.
We eventually had a flow of customers, and they just kept coming and coming. We just got bigger and bigger.
If anybody has any solutions.
Their dad posted a video begging for freezer space to save all this food while he hunts for a new family home.
It's almost a full-time job looking for a place. We don't have the room to store it. What are we going to do?
Dozens of applications later, he's left in line with 100 others to pay double or triple his current rent.
I've been pretty stressed and worried.
Housing experts say this family isn't alone. In the past 2 years in Canada, rent rose an average of $384 a month. Metro Vancouver had the country's highest average monthly rent for a one-bedroom in February at $2,653.
It breaks my heart to hear, I have to advertise to see if someone will welcome me into their rental and let me pay an exorbitant amount of money for a one-bedroom. A younger demographic is working hard, and their hard work isn't paying off like it used to.
People desperate to find rentals are posting pleas.
You need to stand out of the crowd. I just want to try different ways to get attraction, like a spotlight on us.
It starts to make a lot
Skyrocketing of rental rates don't help.
The competition is stiff. There's a lot of competition.
The irony isn't lost on this custom home builder that he's creating homes and can't even find a rental he can afford.
You know, sometimes I struggle with what I'm doing for work. Am I part of the problem or am I part of the solution? But, you know, you have to make money to survive.
A moment of peace before it's back to the grind of finding shelter. Yvette Brand, CBC News, Vancouver.
All right, little taste of the remnants of winter on the way.
Yeah. Just hanging on just a little bit.
That's right, but spring is busting through.
Everywhere, isn't it?
Everywhere.
Gotta have faith.
Have a look at our viewer picture of the day, and yes, we've had snowdrops, we've had crocuses, and now our very first coltsfoot.
Oh, not a dandelion.
Not a dandelion, and again, there are some differences between the two. Most notably, coltsfoot usually springs earlier than dandelions.
And we had the robin.
And we had Robin yesterday. That's
we're
right.
well on our way. Don't you think?
Lots of
Absolutely.
signs.
Thank you to John for sharing. Again, there's the cloud, and that system building in mainly to New Brunswick. Those showers and flurry chances will continue to push in through this evening, but it's mainly the rain that we're going to be waiting for overnight into tomorrow morning. Note those temperatures 2, 3, 4 degrees, and then those temps will fall. Note at lunchtime, already down to the freezing mark, Tri-County area, Kedzie, and then through the valley and central areas into the mid to late afternoon with those flurry chances. The roads will turn a little bit slick, and certainly with those temps falling to the freezing mark, potentially icy for the drive home for western areas. So those temperatures you see there, for the most part, your highs tomorrow, and those winds gusting to 70 will make things quite blustery when in the combination with those flurries. Friday's much quieter. We'll see temperatures near the freezing mark for most. Some flurry chances early in the day, and then again, that will be just changing to clearing sky, which is great. And then next system late Saturday into Saturday night. So lots of activity going on.
So it goes.
Stay tuned. Okay, finally tonight, just when residents of Tokyo thought it was safe to go outside, this happened. Godzilla spotted stomping through the streets of the Japanese capital over the weekend.
Yes, police kept a watchful eye on him as he joined a parade intended to promote traffic safety.
The monster, who first reared its scaly head in a 1954 movie, attracted a lot of attention. Fans got close enough to take some photos without getting trampled underfoot.
That'd be an eye-turning, wouldn't it, don't you think?
Just a bit, yep.
Who's that walking down the street? It's just Godzilla. That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.